Let's go.
Oh my God, the quarterback is toast. Hit it again. Hit it again.
Let's go.
Hit it again. Hit it again. Oh my God, the quarterback is toast. Hit it again.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to tonight's show, the First School Report. We're back at it. We're on our off-season mode, which means we're on every other week now as we navigate these couple of weeks here of the dead zone between now and July 25th. So we are beginning our camp coverage. Can't do this without my co-host, obviously, here as we talk Dallas Cowboys football. Mike in the house. Cowboys Corner, what's going on, bro?
Dude, I miss my little box. It's been so long since I've been in this little box. I miss the chats. I miss you guys. Hope all is well. Let's kick some butt today. The Frisco Report. You only get it once every 2 weeks, twice a month. So let's get your dose in something proper.
Yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat box. Tavis, Ali, Ruben Esparza, Asmodeus in the house, Domingo Mercado. Everybody. Shout out to everybody in the chat box, guys. We appreciate all you guys. So we're kicking off the series here. We talk about the training camp, a little previews here of each positional group. Every other week we'll cover a positional group here. Mike, we're going to kick it off today by covering the offensive line, an area that kind of really affected the Cowboys offense, especially down the line here. You know, we had a lot of musical chairs, people coming and going, rusty players, dinged up, and this sort of thing. So offensive line, Mike, needed to be addressed in, that first round pick, Mike, Tyler Smith.
Yeah, I'm going to say you did fantastic draft coverage. And, we had a good gut instinct that, wide receiver was in the mix, or defensive end, or defensive tackle, tight end. We heard so many things, but you and I, we knew offensive line was going to be drafted. We didn't know who, but we knew that offensive line was top priority for that first round. And Tyler Smith was that guy. They let go of two guys, Randy Gregory and Connor Williams. Those two guys alone combined together 50 penalties for this football team. Both those guys are gone. Tyler Smith, however, in the NCAA was called for a lot of holding penalties. I think he was number one in the NCAA. So, he has to clean some stuff up. He's working with pros, Tyron Smith, Zach Martin. He's soaking in knowledge. He's saying in his press game conferences or press practice conferences that, he's it's not too fast for him. He's learning from great leadership. So we'll see how this rookie transitions into the NFL.
Yeah, the pads are going to come on here in training camp now. This is no longer shorts and, shells and this sort of thing. This is going to be full contact, offensive, defensive, 11 on 11, situational football, these types of deals, man. So it's going to be interesting to see how the rookie shows up, Mike. But, Lyle Collins no longer here with the Cowboys. We knew they needed to address that left side of the ball there with Connor Williams leaving, like you said, and the lack of durability of Tyron Smith, right? So this is something that the Cowboys are going to have to deal with. And that being said, we're going to break down, who we think the starters are going to be and where we might see some camp battles, Mike. So let's get into our slide here and let's go ahead and break this down here. Shout out to everybody in the chat box, guys. Pound that like button if you haven't already. We do appreciate that here. So we're taking a look now here, Mike, at the offensive linemen that we have currently signed to the Dallas Cowboys. We'll go through the names here. Tyler Smith, Tyler Biadasz, Zach Martin, Terrence Steele, Connor McGovern, Matt Farniak, Isaac Alarcon, Matt Waletzko, Josh Ball, Alec Lindstrom, the undrafted free agent, Braylon Jones, the second-year player, Aviante Collins, Amon Simon, and James Empey, some other undrafted college free agents. Okay, Mike. So looking in this left column here, you know, these are the projected starters, right? I think it's safe to say that, you know, you're going to go with Tyron Smith there at left tackle and Tyler Smith there. At this, you know, with these starters, do you feel confident that these guys will get it done? They'll be able to protect Dak. Do you think we'll see an improvement in the running game? How do you feel about these projected starters here, Mike?
Yeah, no, I like the projected starters. Now, we can talk camp battles here in a minute, but if these are the 5, I think Cowboys are going to be okay. However, continuity is something that has to be part of the Dallas Cowboy organization. We had way too many offensive linemen rotating out, injuries, things of that sort. And you've seen it in the running game. You've seen it. Dak was very hesitant on throwing deep balls. Felt like he didn't have a lot of time. He was dinking and dunking on a lot of these late games when the offensive line was really struggling. To have 5 people back-to-back games. I mean, I think it only happened maybe once or twice the entire season. So there was definitely a shuffle of offensive linemen last year. But with Tyron Smith, we know he's going to miss a couple of games. Tyler Smith, you know, he has. I want him to get reps at left tackle, and I want him to get 95% of the reps at left guard, because that's where he's going to be playing most of the year. And the guys on his left and the guy on his right, Tyler Biotish, Tyron Smith, they need that familiarity. You know, they need that communication of, hey, I'm going to pass this guy off to you here when I get this look, or I'm going to pass the guy off here when I see that look. So the offensive line is, I mean, you got 5 quarterbacks there. They have to be mentally tough. And all 5 of these guys that are potential starters are capable of doing it. We've seen them do it, obviously with the exception of Tyler Smith, but 95% left guard, 5% left tackle, just in case Tyron Smith gets hurt. We all know that's going to happen, but the only way it works out is if they have the continuity there of all 5 guys. And then Zach Martin, Pro Bowler, Tyler Biotish, we'll see. They say he beefed up this offseason, so we'll see how much he beefed up. And then obviously Terrence Steele, he played good, inconsistent. They started moving him, inconsistent, so we'll see how he fares.
Yeah, no, Terrence Steele is one that I think fans are like, hey, he'll be under the microscope only because, you know, we got rid of Lyle Collins. But that being said, I think that I don't think they're going to bounce him around this year. I think that right tackle is where he excels. I think that's where he'll stay. If there's an issue there with Tyron Smith, I think that the plan B will be, you know, bumping out Tyler Smith to that left tackle position, unless Matt Waletzko or Josh Ball just blows it out the park, which, you know, her early indications are they're still kind of raw, still learning their way. They're not quite there yet. But Tyler Smith, in the limited snaps that he got at left tackle, you know, he stoned a couple of people. You know, he had some wins against Micah, Dorrance, you know, Sam Williams and these guys, right? So you like to hear that. So I think that is the plan B. You know, my question to you, Mike, is as we navigate further down this list of names is, if that's the case, and you have Tyler Smith at left tackle sometime during the season, the camp battle, who is going to be that left guard? You have to think maybe it's going to be Connor McGovern as the lead dog there, but how do you feel about some other competition there? Do you think that he would be that left guard in case there's a Tyron Smith and, you know, they bump, you know, Tyler over? Like, what do you feel about that left guard there?
It's Isaac Alarcon from Mexico. All right, they've been developing this guy. They're keeping him around for a reason. He don't count against the roster spot. You can use that against me all day long, but you don't waste resources in developing your own player. I think Isaac Alarcon makes the 53-man roster this year, and if something was to go down, and again, I'm projecting here. This ain't written in stone, But they seen Connor McGovern there at the left tackle at the left guard position, excuse me, and they didn't like it. They were willing to settle for holding penalties than to have Connor McGovern get beat every other play. Isaac Alarcon, he's been developed. This is his third year. He's going to see a lot of reps. He's going to see a tremendous amount of reps. And again, it's all mental focus. So he has mental focus. The Cowboys got him in a lot of community events that down in Dallas. I really think the cat battle is going to be between Connor McGovern and Isaac Alarcon for that left backup spot. But I think Alarcon's going to win that position. I really do.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Mike, because you're right. You hit it right on the head. Nobody liked what we saw out of Connor McGovern. The coaches didn't. They rather have taken the penalties with Connor Williams, which that says a lot. That really does say a lot. So I'm with you. I'm not penciling in Connor McGovern as that for sure left guard backup. I think you're right. I think that's going to be the battle there to watch there at left guard. Connor and Isaac I think they're going to duke it out there. And man, the best player win. I think Isaac really has been putting in a lot of what you want. A lot of the time he's been working out with several positional coaches and working outside the organization with other specialists. Like with Duke Mayweather, and you like to see that, right? So I think that's going to be a good battle there. To me, McGovern he kind of plateaued like a season or two ago. Whereas Isaac, you do see the progression little by little, year 3, like you said, Mike. He's got to make the team this year. They can't hold him again. He doesn't qualify for, the international roster spot if he doesn't make it this year. So we'll see where he goes. But I'm with you, man. I think that's going to be the battle there for that left guard backup, and that person's going to see time, guys. Whoever that is, they are going to see time in because Tyron Smith, he just is what he is. We know what's going to happen there, Mike. Let's talk about the center position. Tyler Biadasz, to me, Mike, I think it's his position to lose. But you and I, we talked about this a lot. And not many other people are talking about this too much. But Matt Farniak, I thought, finished the year really strong. Is that the cat battle to watch? Does Farniak have any shot at overthrowing Biadasz, or do you think it's Biadasz all the way here? What are you guys feeling?
I think it's going to be a tough competition. Like you said, Matt Farniak came in late in the year, and he played. I think he really had a really good preseason too. This is a full off season for Matt Farniak. I want to see how much muscle he gains, how they got him built, because you can kind of see, how players are getting built, and where they want him to play. If he looks like a left guard, he's going to play like a left guard. If he looks like a center, he's going to play like a center. Travis Frederick was the ideal center physique, right? So if he's looking like Travis Frederick, one of these two guys, they probably both had that physique like 72. But Matt Farniak, Tyler Biadasz, and I'm going to throw a wrench at you here, Joe. I'm going to throw a wrench at you. I think Connor McGovern is going to see snaps at center, a lot of rotation. Only three preseason games, so you're going to see a lot of rotation. But I'm going to throw those three guys at some center competition. Can Biadasz be ready for that competition, or does he fear for his job? If he fears for his job, Joe, he's going to make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, this is a critical year for him, right? Year 3, this is where you're going to make your money. You're either going to, show that you're on your way to getting a second contract with this team, or are you going to fall on the wayside like a Connor Williams, where they are what they are. So I think it's a big battle there. I like Biadasz, Farniak. I think he's going to give a good battle there. You know what I mean? And obviously you have Alec Lindstrom and Braylon Jones. These guys have that flex for guard and center, that sort of thing. But we'll see there, Mike. Let's talk about these depth guys. We already talked about Isaac. Let's talk about Matt Waletzko, Josh Ball, and the rest of these guys here. Matt Waletzko, a day 3 selection here for the Cowboys. a semi-steal in some regards, depending on who you talk to, a Senior Bowl standout, you know what I mean? And really, they liked his length, very long arms, 36-inch arms, 6'7". I mean, he's a really big human being out there. So, the footwork obviously needs some work there. But where do you think Matt Waletzko fits into this Cowboys offensive room here? Do you have him
Yeah.
making team, left side, right side? What do you think about Matt here as we get to camp?
When we did our draft breakdown, I really thought Waletzko would be playing at the right position, and he's not. They got in during this OTAs and rookie minigames. They had him on the left side. I'm not shocked. They're the coaches. They're professionals. But I had him projected as a right tackle. And with his body, with his length, I can understand left tackle. But I'm wrong. I'm human. So Matt Waletzko on the left side. It's hard to beat out Tyron Smith, right? Unless he gets traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's being rumored, right? Not happening.
Yeah.
And then Josh Ball, the right side is where he's been. Josh Ball, this is his second year. One thing Josh Ball has over Matt Waletzko is a year under his belt in the National Football League, right? Things for Josh Ball, learning, being redshirted, understanding the speed of the game, understanding film. I mean, he's in the film room with professionals like Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, Lyle Collins. He was in there too, right? So he was able to learn from some good people, a lot of starters. Connor Williams at that too. I mean, in the film room, you don't know how good he is, right? Studying the film, but playing, not so much. So Josh Ball has a notch over Waletzko, and I think Waletzko left side now, Josh Ball the right side, and there's a competition for that swing tackle, and one of these guys could be that swing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. It's really the swing guys here, But I think these swing guys, they're almost like your option C, right? We talk about Tyron if he gets hurt, probably kicking out Tyler to that left tackle, and these guys are your option C and D, right? I think that's what's going to happen there. But Matt Waletzko, yeah, man, if he can show up, man, and it can give you some good snaps, I mean, he's definitely going to get a shot. I think him and Ball are going to get a really good look here in the preseason. We know Tyron's not going to play the preseason, right? He
Absolutely
just isn't. He never does. He won't. You got to bubble wrap the guy, right? So, well, let's go and Ball. They're going to have their opportunities. You know what I mean? And if they can really hold it down in the preseason, and I know it's only 3 games, but it's under the lights, right? We always talk about, do they crumble under the lights? We see with wide receivers, any position, it's different from being on the practice field to in these stadiums in the big lights. Some of these guys just can't hack it, right? So that's going to be important for me. How do they look when the lights come on? But yeah, man, Josh Ball, year 2, like you said, Mike. I think if he got stronger, I think that's what the Cowboys wanted him to really get stronger. Was really what they wanted to concentrate. If he did that, I think that he'll definitely be in the mix at the right tackle. You know what I mean, Mike? And they asked the Cowboys here in the post draft, and Jerry basically said, we're not bringing in, veteran tackles. We have the guys here now, so they're definitely very confident in these guys. So we'll see how it shakes out, Mike. But it's going to be some good battles there between Waletzko and Josh Ball, definitely for those swing tackle positions, Mike. Let's talk about Alec Lindstrom. A lot of early fanfare here. Obviously, whenever undrafted players come in, who did we get in undrafted? It's almost like they're talked about more than your primary draft pick sometimes, right? Like it's a little overhyped and things like that. So Alec Lindstrom, to me, Mike, out of Boston College, very raw, undrafted for a reason. Does he have a shot at? Does he have any shot at the center position here?
I mean, he could. And this is a little cliche and out of pocket, but Dak Prescott didn't have a chance with Kellen Moore and Dak Prescott, or with Kellen Moore and Tony Romo, right? Injuries got Dak Prescott where he was in the starting lineup, and you never know what can happen. I know there's a big fanfare around Lindstrom. But I mean, he could get an opportunity. He could see a lot of opportunities. All it has to do is for one or two guys to go down. Cowboys might panic, pick up a veteran center. But having said that, he can go in and make the most of his opportunities, and we'll see where he goes from there.
Yeah, that's really what's going to come down to, especially for these final guys that we talk about. Braylon Jones, Mike, and I'm with you 100% on what you said about Alec Lindstrom, 100%. Like, I think he's a long shot, practice squad, possibly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Braylon Jones, Mike, I liked how he looked in the preseason last year out of Houston, U of H. They gave him a good look at center, guard, and I think he'll be, this type of flex kind of guy that the Cowboys like. A guy that can give you some flex at center and guard. Year 2 for him for the Cowboys, I think it's going to be interesting to see where he ultimately ends up with this team. We talked about Farniak and we talked about Matt, and Connor McGovern and Isaac. I think Braylon Jones could sneak into this conversation if he really balls out here. Mike, what's your thoughts on Braylon Jones?
Yeah, no, I like you said, his preseason tape, there was some potential there, right? But it all depends on how he correlates year 1 to year 2, Joe. That offensive line, you got to be mentally tough. You got to be physical, and we'll see where he is developmental wise in training camp. A lot of these guys, training camp is the job interview. And every day you're at training camp, whether it's Oxnard or at the Star, you're being interviewed. So we'll see how he carries himself, how he handles himself, and what happens when those lights turn on in the preseason games.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'm low key rooting for Braylon Jones. I think that there's something there with him. I think he's just a really well built guy. He's kind of thick, kind of like a bowling ball, this type of guy. So he plays with power, can play the run really good. These last 3 guys, Mike, Aviante Collins, Amon Simon, and James Empey, to me, super long shots. For me, more camp body type of players. But there's nothing wrong with that, right? You got to have depth, and you got to bring guys over into your practice squad. The Cowboys did their homework with these last 3, but of these 3 here, Aviante and Amon and James, do any of these 3, do anything for you? Do you like any more than the other ones?
I'm gonna be honest, Joe. I don't know much about the last 3, but who knows? I might know them when we're making 53-man cuts. Who knows?
That's what it's all about, bro. That's what it's all about. All right. I'm the same. I've only watched a little bit here and there. Just read some scouting reports on these guys, and undrafted for a reason. They have some strengths, but more negatives than not. So long shots, like I said, players that you can mold. And maybe you get a diamond in the rough, right? Maybe you get another Terrence Steele somewhere out of these things. I never really wanted to discard a player and just say, "Oh, no shot at all," right? Because sometimes the guys that you think are no shot, could actually become something. So, Cowboys do a really good job with the offensive line, especially. I think that's their bread and butter, Mike. So these are the names to get familiar with, guys. Especially we're looking at this right column here. Alec, Braylon, Aviante, Amon, and James Empey. Keep an eye on these guys as we go through the practices and the preseason. These guys could surprise. And we definitely need the depth, right, Mike?
Yeah, for sure. We've seen the carousel the Dallas Cowboys gave us last year with this offensive line. Connor McGovern didn't cut it on the left side. Terrence Steele didn't cut it on the left side. So hopefully we can get some depth for that left side. We know how dependable Zach Martin is, but he's getting older in age too. So Cowboys got to protect themselves in all areas.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing that I do like about this year's offensive line, you have a lot of young guys playing for something, playing for potential second contracts with the Cowboys. Like Terrence Steele, we're already on at the end of his rookie contract just about. So you got to start thinking about this guy's a guy that's going to need to get money too, right? Tyler Biadasz. This is a super big year for him. He's going to want to ball out. All right. Connor McGovern, he's going to want to ball out as well, and see if he can sneak in here as a swing guy or a backup, and get re-signed on a short-term deal. So there's a lot of to be played here for these guys. As far as like trying to earn that second contract, Mike.
Yeah, I will say this: these guys better get some reps in at fullback too, because you have to be able to play fullback. Kellen Moore offense.
That's right, man. That's right. Connor McGovern played that fullback position. We do have fullbacks on this roster, and we'll talk about the running back, fullback position here as we get to that position group. But yeah, I think it's going to be good competition on that offensive line. It's more about who takes advantage of the snaps, right? You're going to get vet days for Zach Martin. You're going to get vet days plus for Tyron Smith. So you're going to have guys opportunities to shine. Hey, man, this guy came in here and blocked really well, with Zach being out. That's the kind of thing I want to hear. You know what I mean?
And I know we're not talking about this position group, but a lot of these guys is going to have really good competition. Tank Lawrence and Osa Odighizu and Quentin Bohanna and Carl Watkins. I think he came back this year, and Terrell Basham and Dante Fowler. So they're going to get a lot of looks in practice to be able to make an impact. So it's going to be exciting to see these guys go against some of the, I think is going to be a really good defensive line. Sam Williams too. So I think these guys are going to be able to go up with what I think is going to be a really good defensive line. Hell, even Mike Parsons too. So animals. Dogs.
Yeah, it's iron sharpening iron. It really is, because you got a lot of dogs on that defense. You're gonna get the best out of these offensive line, because they don't want to get shown up. They don't want to get embarrassed. So they're gonna bring it. They're gonna bring it. If they don't, they'll bring in somebody else that can. So that's what camp is all about. I'm really excited about this offensive line, especially these young guys who have the opportunity to really make an imprint on the future of this Cowboys offensive line. You know what I mean? So, you talked about Tyron Smith, the rumor, the trade rumors. For me, I don't think it'll happen. If it does, the Cowboys, they're not good at getting value.
They'll fumble the value.
They'll fold like a cheap suit. So, I do expect maybe those rumors will rear their head again. I wouldn't be surprised if it does come up, especially maybe with camp cuts and this sort of thing. Like, what could you get for him? Some say a third on the high. Cowboys probably get a fifth, maybe a sixth. You know what I mean? That's just what the Cowboys do. They don't fight for value. They give away people, man. So we'll see what happens there. But Mike, great talk. Shout out to everybody in the chat box. We appreciate everybody here in the chat box. Ryan Doyle, Stephen White, Ron Dog Gillahouse, a whole bunch of guys in here, man. We do appreciate you guys showing up here. Common Sense Cowboy fan in the house. Appreciate you. Marlon Group, longtime supporter. Craig English, good to see you. Michael Beers in the house. Tavis, as Modius as usual. Great combination here, guys. But that's all we have tonight here for you. Taking a preview of the offensive line. Check back in 2 weeks for our next video. We're going every other week here in the off season, so Frisco Report will be back the week after the next, and we'll cover another position group, Mike. But Mike, let everybody know where they can find you if they haven't already, bro.
Yeah, I'm going to tell a quick story, then I'll let you know where you can find me. So I was on a live stream, and it was with some Eagle fans, and they told me, they said, Cowboys Corner, who do you have that the Eagles don't have that's better? And they were talking about the defense side of the ball. I said, I'm ready. I'm about to blow your mind, right? I could have said Michael Parsons. I could have said Tank Lawrence. You know what I said? I said Dan Quinn. And they didn't say anything else. So big shout out to my guy, Dan Quinn. But Cowboys Corner right here on YouTube, _Cowboys Corner on Twitter. And if you got an argument with the Eagle fan and they ask you that question, pull out that Dan Quinn card. They won't expect it.
Well said, bro. Well said. Yeah, Dan Quinn is the weapon X for this team. And I think the strength of the team is going to be the defense, and that's going to be fun when we break down those positional groups because you got a lot of really good players there. But that's all we have tonight, guys. Make sure you guys pound that like button on your way out. It helps your channel immensely. Follow my boy Mike, Cowboys Corner, and we'll see you for the next one, guys. Peace.
On one side.